Hey there, Gemini. Medicine here, and I just want to say thank you so very much for tuning in. So, of course, we are doing a reading right now for the first trimester of Libra. And this is that time between September 23rd to October 3rd. It's the first trimester of Libra. There are three trimesters of Libra. And in one season, each sign has three trimesters. For one season, each season has three trimesters in it, and the season of Libra is no different. We're looking at the shaman of birth um, as the overall theme for this energy. It's the overall theme for the energy. And we're looking at it in your fifth house. And we'll go ahead and explain a bit about the fifth house later. But for now, let's talk about the shaman of birth. The shaman of birth, okay, is really all about, I really want to, emphasize on partnership with the shaman of birth. I don't know if you're able to see it or not because we just got really, really a whole bunch of light in here. Let me see if I can clear some of that so that you can be able to see. All right, I think that just got better, don't you? I think that got a lot better. So the shaman of birth, what you may, I hope you can see here, you've got the mother, you've got the father, you've got a feminine energy here, you've got a masculine energy here. Masculine energy is holding a spear, right, or a harpoon, and the feminine energy is holding the child, is holding the dream, is holding the baby. The feminine energy is that energy that creates space for the dream to come true. And the masculine energy, on the other hand, is the one who hunts for and puts action into making the dream come true. So while one is holding space, the other one is taking the action. And it's a partnership that gets created from this. And that's really the big point about the shaman of birth. It's a partnership that's created. So there's two sides to this partnership. Holding the space, taking action on the space. Your inner self, the inner self, which is the feminine side of you, holds the space. The outer self takes action on the space. So the inner self, the feminine side, that's the side of self that is receptive and allows itself to be impregnated by the dream, the feeling, the vision, the goal, to be impregnated by it. Have you ever heard that idea? I mean, you can search for it. It's all over the internet. But if you feel it inside of yourself, your actions will be driven from what you see, sense, and feel on the inside of you. That's the partnership. But you've got to be willing to be impregnated by the vision, to feel it, see it, sense it inside of yourself, and to protect it, to take action on it, to protect it and to take action on it. To make the necessary effort in order to get, but understand that all your actions come from the feeling. You understand? So the feeling, the vision, the image inspires the action. And another part of this too is that this is secretive. We're not telling everybody what our inner visions and dreams and feelings are at this time, okay? But we are taking action on them nonetheless. This is something that has to come from within. This is not something that comes outside of self. Libra has an energy of going within. Libra, in comparison to Aries, let's say, is more inner, while Aries is perhaps more outer, more external. I mean, they are both external, but Libra takes its place in the West. You understand? And Libra takes its place in the West, in the elements of water alongside Scorpio. Okay, so there is a more inner calm or an inner being with Libra than there is with Aries. Aries takes its place in the East. So Aries is completely externalized, expressive, while Libra is more internalized, expressive. And the fun part about that is that Aries is more instinctive and impulsive, which means intuitive, while Libra is more logical and more sensible, which means, you know what I mean? Like, so that's the fun part about it. But the reason why this is important is because what you got to look at is how the feelings and the mental work together. Because what we're seeing, feelings, emotional, mental, feminine, feeling, emotional, masculine, mental, active. You got to look at how the two of them work together. Once again, what I feel inside of myself, when I can open my mental, when I can open my mind to the feelings, because the feelings have messages. You understand? So the feelings have messages. They let you know, something. They have something that they're trying to speak to you about. And it becomes very important with the shaman of birth to learn how to communicate with the invisible energies, invisible energies like emotions, energy in motion, and spiritual energies. So I'm learning how to communicate with the emotional and spiritual energies with the shaman of birth. And the way that I do, but the first thing I have to do is be impregnated by those emotional and spiritual energies. In other words, I got to acknowledge that they are there before I can actually communicate with them. I have to acknowledge their presence. I can't be in denial about it. I got to be present and aware and accepting of their presence, that they are inside of me, trying to impregnate me with a feeling, a vision, an image, an awareness, something. Okay. And so this is the masculine left brain. This is the masculine side, that which is logical and active and external, working with the inner feeling and emotional side. And they're learning how to communicate with one another, because spirit communicates through symbols, sometimes communicates through sounds, sometimes and especially communicates through images and feelings. But the external, the physical world, it communicates through the physical, and it communicates through logic, and I mean, it communicates through things. It communicates with the mundane. So we're really learning how to combine and learn how to have communication between the two realms of the physical and the spiritual, of the mental and the emotional. Very possible. That's the partnership that we may be developing here. And also, by developing that partnership, I would guess, because I look at the sixth house. Libra for you is right here in the sixth house. So in the sixth house, we talk about inner youth. We talk about the inner child. We talk about creativity, and we talk about how we attract. We talk about how we go on that hero's journey to attracting. So your way has a lot to do with how to creating harmony and balance. When you create harmony and balance in your life, you're going to attract the right kind of people and things to you. You're going to attract people that are going to be especially romantic for you. So if those of you Geminis that are looking for a love life right now, if you're looking to attract love in your life right now, you gotta be willing to communicate within if you're going to attract it without. Once again, the feminine side of self holds this energy. The feminine side of self holds the energy of wanting to attract love inside of self. And holds the inner creator, and holding that infinite creation, that sense of all things are possible. Creation, unlimited creativity is held on the inside of the feminine. The masculine gets inspired by what is on in the inside of the feminine and takes action on it. And so but you got to get it from the inside of yourself first, which means that you got to get to a place where you start communicating with your feelings and emotions. It can be very difficult for air signs, especially, and even for fire signs on some level to really work with their emotions. However, I have definitely known some very intuitive Gemini. There's a very psychic side to Gemini. That's why you got the twins, right? Because there's a side of you, and hello, we got the twins. Okay, there you go. So there's some side of you that is externalized, and there's some side of you that is internalized. And learning to work with the twins is going to be it's going to be one of the best medicines for you at this time. If you can imagine that there's some side of yourself that is light, and there's some side of yourself that is shadow, and learning how to work with the light and the shadow, with the yin and the yang of you, your twin energy. If you tap into that twin energy right there, that's going to be really powerful for you. But really, you really want to get into a space where you're learning to balance out the mental with the emotional, balancing out the mundane with the spiritual, balancing out the logical with the spiritual even, okay? Balancing out what makes logical sense in the world versus what makes senseless sense, okay? And what's very senseless in the spiritual world. Learning how to communicate with those two energies is really going to help you out. And if you are looking for romance right now, then this is what you got to do in order to get there. This is what this is all about. This is where we start. We start by learning how to communicate with our whole selves, everything that is on the inside of us. We start with learning how to communicate with our whole psyche, right? Starting to learn how to communicate with, the conscious versus the subconscious, and the unconscious versus the higher conscious. We're learning how to communicate with these four forms of consciousness, with these four elements that are on the inside of us. We're learning how to communicate with that feminine side of self, that side of self that is on the inside of ourselves versus that side of self that is on the outside of ourselves. Okay, I can't say that enough. It's all just like, and understanding that your hero's journey has a lot to do with that. Your hero's journey has a lot for you. It's all about creating peace, and it's all about creating balance. And the more that you can begin to do that for yourself, the more that will be reflected outside of yourself. So if you're looking for a romance right now, this may be a great time for dating. Ask yourself ask yourself what is on the inside of yourself, because who you fall in love with, who you marry, if you will, Libra energy here, who you choose to marry inside of yourself is who you're going to marry outside of yourself. And the nature of what is inside of you is going to be the nature of what you attract outside of you. So who you choose to marry and who you choose to be in partnership and relationship on the inside of yourself is going to be reflected. The best chance that you get of finding that ideal partner that you'd like to have in your life is by learning how to marry your inner self. Okay? Learning how to marry your inner self. And for those of you who are right now fighting for something, it still all comes back to that. It still all comes back to learning to marry the inner self. This right here is on the side. And so I when it's on the side like this, the shell, it's on the side, right? Like it's not like here and it's not like there. So it's on the side. Interesting. And when it's on the side like that, I see that there is some conflict going on, that there is some things that are perhaps not definite. There are some things that are perhaps not set in stone. There are some uncertainties that are going on, perhaps some confusion. I see indecisiveness. I feel one way, but I think another. I feel this way, but I feel that way. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to be. Like, I feel unsure. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to be aware of. But it's at your center. And I really want to stress the fact that it's at your center. So what this is suggesting to me is that you might have some uncertainties inside of yourself as far as your partnership is concerned, because you feel two different ways and perhaps neither one of them agree with one another. It's like two different junctures. You don't know what to do. And it really comes back to learning how to create balance, learning how both of them are actually the same side of the same coin. They're two sides of the same coin. You just have to see it that way. You just have to shift your perspective into that awareness. You got to get into the awareness that these two opposites are actually two sides of the same coin. And so they are both the same thing. They're just two aspects of the same thing. And so really, how can you bring them together to create that partnership? Because there's the uncertainty going on there. How can you bring them together to create that partnership between the two? In some sense, what I'm seeing is I don't know whether I should go deeper inside of myself or go higher. You know, I don't know whether I should go into my shadow or reach higher for the stars or higher for self. And what I'm seeing is that there needs to be a balance between your unconscious self and your higher conscious self, between your higher self and your shadow self. That's what I'm seeing with this. I don't know whether to go deeper in or I don't know whether to go higher up. What I'm seeing is that you need to allow yourself, give yourself permission to create, to balance both of them. Understanding that as you go deeper, you go higher. As you go more into your shadow, you go more into your light. This wants to stay at the center too. Allow yourself to be receptive. Here's your bowl. This is like your bowl of light, of life, of pregnancy. We talked about, allowing yourself to being impregnated by the feeling, by the dream. So this is really supporting that. So first of all, what I want to say is this. You got to come back to center, Gemini. So whatever confusion, get centered. Because when you're centered, you're on neither side, but you are neutral, right? You're coming from a place of neutrality, and you're coming from a place of balance, and you're getting centered. So really come back to center. And what you have to understand is at your center, there is a well of knowledge. There is a well of spiritual knowledge that you might not necessarily be able to comprehend all the way, but it's yours. And if you learn to surrender to it, have faith in it, trust in it, that when I'm in a place of conflict and confusion, I don't know what to do, because one part of me says, do this. The other part of me says, do that. Let's say it's having to do with a partnership. Let's say it's having to do with somebody that I'm dating. Maybe you like two different kinds of people. Get centered about it. Seek creator on it. Pray about it even. Allow yourself to really pray on it, and to really understand how creator, and not just creator as in creator self, but creator self is great spirit, right? Is God, is the all, is source. However way that works for you, but really understanding that great spirit, great mystery, the unfathomable source is inside of yourself, and allowing your bowl, if you will, surrendering your soul so that your bowl can be refilled. Okay, because it may be that your bowl is empty, that your well is empty, and that your emotional well is empty. So it might be hard for you to really tap into your feelings and emotions. It may be that by surrendering yourself, by opening up yourself, by allowing yourself to be impregnated by a feeling, okay, by an emotion, by a feeling, by an image. We talked about this earlier. But just allowing yourself to surrender to the process. I don't know what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, but maybe just lay there and maybe just make the intention that I am open and I am a bowl and I am ready to receive the spiritual waters of creator. I'm ready to be impregnated by that. By just my saying that right now, I felt the energy coming into me as if I were a bull being pregnated, like it was coming into my chest. So maybe you affirm that. Maybe you affirm and intend that you are a fountain, a well, you know, that is willing, that is open and ready and willing to receive the spiritual waters of Creator. Maybe you open yourself up to that and you really allow yourself to take it in. But don't tell nobody. You gotta give yourself permission to be secretive. It's not something that you want to share with anybody right now. Why is that? Because you don't need nobody else's opinion. You don't need nobody else's point of view. You don't need nobody else's do this, do that. You don't need nobody else's 2 cents. This is between you and Creator. You don't need nobody else's 2 cents. This is between you and Creator. And understand that at this time, if you are looking to be pregnant, if you are looking to, to be impregnated, like literally, like if you want to have a baby, this is a good omen for that. So those of you who are looking to get pregnant, maybe you're looking to have children in the future, even if you're a man, but the point is that you're looking to have children in the future. Okay. So men can get pregnant too in that way symbolically. What comes to mind is, even if you're looking to have children in the future, maybe you base your decisions in your relationship off that. However, if you're in a place of uncertainty right now, just open yourself up secretively. Don't tell nobody that's what you're doing. Don't go around telling anybody that that's what you're looking for. And maybe when you're dating, maybe you're really just kind of getting a scope or an idea. Is this person the kind of person, that I can see myself being with? Like, is this person the kind of person that you're feeling it out, versus saying it aloud? Can I see this person? Can I see myself having a child with this person, kind of deal? You know what I'm saying? But you're just really allowing your spirit to lead you in this direction. And you're allowing your spirit to communicate with your mind. You're allowing your heart to communicate with your mind. And maybe you're allowing that to happen. So something to that effect. But remember, it's not something that you're necessarily sharing with anybody. It's something that you're perhaps keeping to yourself. These deep dreams and feelings and deep desires and wishes and wants of yours, okay? So that is the medicine for you, Gemini. I so have enjoyed this. I hope you have too. Please like and subscribe. Spirit is just so, I'm always amazed every single time I do a reading, and it's like every single time Spirit just shows me something new, and I'm just like, whoa, where did that come from? So, please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this. And I look forward to working with you in the next reading. A Gala North.